So one of my experiences that one of my complaints I've heard from other people is, like, hey, I don't know what's going on in my case. I went to the firm and, I just haven't heard from them after they signed me up and I've been going to treatment. In your experience, and I know these kids, like you mentioned, these claims can take a long time. Obviously, you're not just 99% of the time, it's not like you're just sitting on your butt, not doing anything. It's just, what's the process? Why does it take so long sometimes?
Well, first off, personal injury attorneys, and I think any attorneys for that matter, only have an obligation to call a client for an update when there's like an important development in the case.
Mhm.
So for that reason, sometimes clients don't hear from attorneys as often as they'd expect. And the other thing is that, again, like I said before, you don't know the full value of your case until you're done with medical treatment.
Right.
So sometimes clients will treat 6 months, sometimes they'll treat a year, sometimes a year and a half, sometimes for the rest of their lives, which kind of gets tricky because you can't let them treat their whole life and then settle at the end. So you have to kind of factor in what the future treatment would be for those cases. But once they're done treating, then you have to request all the medical records before you settle the case. And requesting medical records is not as easy as you think. Sometimes it could take like 6 months to get medical records from a hospital.
Oh, wow.
Because sometimes they don't really care. It's not as important to them to get you medical records for a claim as caring for their own patients in the moment. And then once you do get the medical records, then sometimes the insurance company will just like lowball you. Okay. Or they won't make an offer, and then that forces you to file a lawsuit to increase the value of the claim. And so a lot of these things are the reasons why these cases go on for a long time.
Well, have you dealt with client, or how do you handle a client that says, I don't want to go to treatment, that stuff doesn't work for me? What do you do with a client that's not really willing to or wanting to not go to treatment?
Well, the first thing that I do in those sorts of cases is I talk with them. I feel like part of my job is to make them fully informed of the consequences of not going into treatment, just so they know it might hurt their claim if they don't treat. But a lot of the time, we might just drop a client that doesn't want to go forward with treatment if there's not a whole lot of medical data already in the case and it kind of has low value.
Right. So you would drop a client only because obviously they're not helping themselves and you can't quantify what the damages are, because if they're not able or willing to go. So do you explain to a client, like, unless they're not injured, but the reality is most people don't have the patience to go for treatment, right? Because I know in my experience, I know I will procrastinate on a doctor's appointment. But like you said, insurance companies then probably look at that and say, okay, well, that shows that you obviously weren't injured, right? You weren't injured. You could have gone. You should have gone and you didn't go.
Actually, I only take on cases that I think that the clients have real injuries and they're severe injuries. And when you see those cases, the clients usually really want to go to treatment and they're very persistent with it.
Okay.
And I find that usually when the clients really aren't hurt, then that's when they don't go to treatment.
Right.
And that's usually when I would find the real injuries from like the people that are faking it and drop cases for that reason.